What's up all you cool snakes and neonates? How's it going? I hope you are all keeping well. I'm in the living room, which could only mean one thing. New animal. That's right, we've got a new animal here today. It's right beside me. We've just driven over 3 hours to go and pick this animal up. This was a friend of mine who messaged me and said that he was starting to focus more on his geckos and less on his snakes, and asked me if I would like this snake. It's a species I swore I would never keep. Not because I don't want to keep one, but because I couldn't. Because they can get to 20 foot long. 18 to 20 foot for a female. If you haven't guessed it already, that animal is a reticulated python. We're going to get him out right now. He's a little scared because he's been on a big scary car journey. He's only little, so we're going to see how this goes. Hello, Babs. Would you like to come and say hello? And here he is. Look at this animal. This is stunning. This is a male reticulated python. I believe his morph is albino lavender het sunglow. Now, I'm not a huge morph person. I'm not always a fan of morphs because I prefer animals in their natural beauty, how they come from the wild. He is just going into the early stages of shed, so he's not as pretty as he normally is. But look at that snake. Is that a pretty snake or what? He is gorgeous. Now, I swore I'd never have a reticulated python because they get large. Well, hopefully, and touch wood, this guy's not going to get large. Believe it or not, this guy's about 2 foot long and he's 2 years old. Now, snakes do a majority of their growth in their first 4 years. They never stop growing until the day they die, but they do the majority of their growth in the first 4 years of their life. So this guy's only 2 foot, and that is because he's what's known as a super dwarf, which is not a genetic malfunction. It's not like dwarfism. This is a locality creates this dwarf, so where he comes from. So your mainland retics, the ones that come from the big mainland islands, those are the ones that can get to 18 foot long. This guy here comes from the islands, so this guy is the habitat. The land is a lot smaller, the prey is a lot smaller, and these guys live a lot in trees, so these guys don't get big at all. He's having a wander now. He's woken up and he says, "Where am I? What are all these new smells?" So he is just in the early stages of shed. He's a wonderful little boy. He's probably a little scared just now, so I'm a little bit watchy. He's going to stink his little teepees into me, but he seems really good. Touch wood so far. So yeah, this is our new reticulated python. He is, if I remember rightly, I'm going to put it up on screen, but I think he is 37% super dwarf, 25% dwarf, and 37% mainland, or something like that. I think it's along those lines. But yeah, I don't think he's going to get very big because he's already 2 years old. And he's only this size, but he is wonderful. He's gorgeous. So we're going to pop him in a quarantine tub, even though he's come from a good friend of mine who I trust very much. His enclosure is currently got varnish in it. It's been dry for about a week, but I want to give it another week just because he's so little to dry and harden and let the solvent disappear. So it's a good excuse just to stick him into the quarantine tub for a week. And once he's out of that quarantine tub, we'll do another episode of popping him in his new enclosure. But he is wonderful. He's a very good boy too. Very well behaved. Very food orientated, which you expect from a reticulated python. He's a bit flinchy, but my friend was saying that he wasn't handled an awful lot because he has a lot of animals. So often what happens there is they don't get handled a terrible amount, but he's definitely been loved and looked after because he is a wonderful snake. So my friend has done a wonderful job with this snake. He's just going to need a little bit of loving and a little bit of handling We're going to see how he goes, and we may even use him in our Zoo to You, in our kids' parties and things like that. But he'll have to go through training, desensitization, and risk assessing before he can be used for that. But what a gorgeous snake. Like I say, I'm not a morph fan, but this guy is beautiful. He maybe is a little bit longer than 2 foot, which Kirsten won't be happy with, because we had a bet on. She said he's longer than 2 foot, and I said he's not. But he might actually be about 3 foot, but we won't tell Kirsten, because we are maxed out with animals here in the Reptile Rich Room. I would never have taken in another snake. The only reason I took him in was because, of course, he's got that dwarf and super dwarf lineage, so chances are he's not going to get big at all. I'm expecting to see about 4, maybe 5 foot max out of this guy right here. We'll have plans for him. If he does get bigger, we'll work something out. But yeah, isn't he wonderful? Gorgeous snaky. Let's pop him in his quarantine box. Although, I don't want to put him down. See if we can get some close-ups for you guys. Alright, so the wee man has been in the house for about a week now. He's been in quarantine. Of course, he's a nice light coloured snake, as you can see, so we would see very easily if there were mites on him or anything like that. Nothing against my friend who had him before. It's always just common practice as a reptile keeper. When you get a new animal, you put it into quarantine, especially when you've got about 30 odd animals in here. You kind of want to make sure that you don't have to want to start medicating them all and treating for mites on them all, because that's a lot of work. So it's a lot less work just putting one animal in quarantine for a week. Plus, like I say, his enclosure here was getting varnished and things like that, so we had to wait for the varnish to harden. So now that varnish is all hardened in there, Marley has had his Viv partitioned, and he's got that sort of 4x3 in there. I'm going to put more branches in there for him to climb on, but he's an old boy and he doesn't move around a hell of a lot. And there he is there with all of his handsome rainbow, that UV light reflecting off the keratin in his scales. But that's him just chilling out in there, and that's going to be the Retix enclosure for the time being. So let's pop this absolutely gorgeous little man in there. He is in the early stages of shed, so he's a bit scared, he's a little bit confused, he's a little bit grumpy, so we're not going to mess with him. We're just going to pull him out of here and pop him in his new enclosure. I wanted to get him in that new enclosure as quickly as possible with that new substrate, because he's going in shed, so I wanted him in a nice humid room to help him shed off nice and properly for his first shed here in the Reptile Rich household. So as always, we hook train our animals, and this little man is absolutely no different. Hello, little boy. He is wonderful. He's just a little bit scared, a little bit timid, because he's in a new house. Let's pop him into his new enclosure right here. Are you sniffing your dog? Are you sniffing your new dog? In you go there, my little bubs. Want to have a look at your new home. Now he's in shed, so he's very dull just now. He's not as pretty as he normally is. And just look at how stunning that snake is right now. He is a looker. I cannot wait till he sheds. You guys will get an update as soon as he does, so you can see him in all of his glory. He's a very good little boy. Very handsome little boy. You can see he's a bit milky around the eyes there, so he is starting to go into shed. I'm expecting when he sheds for those colours to just pop. not my favourite water dish in the world, that one. I will get him a better bowl at some point. You see he's a bit pink around that nose as well, so textbook him going into shed. He's got an old scab on top of his head there that's healing up, you can see, so we'll keep an eye on that. There's no open wound or anything like that, so that'll probably just disappear a little bit each time he sheds. But son, can you let go of my hand please, because I've got things to do. I do. So while he's in shot just now and you guys have something very pretty to look at, I must apologise for our lack of videos recently. It's not been fantastic. Well, it has been fantastic. We have been absolutely overrun with bookings on the business. We've been working our butts off, going to schools and doing educational talks and inspiring children and stuff like that. You guys might have seen on the shorts there. We are absolutely booming right now. We are smashing records this year with bookings and things like that. So I'm very busy with the zoo to you kind of business. And a few other bits and bobs too. But the animals' care, of course, is first and foremost. It's just I don't have much time while doing everything to film everything, especially since I do all the filming, as you can see right now, by myself. So son, can you leave my hand? I'm just going to pop you in there. So the setup I have built, I mean that's not pretty, but it's all been varnished and things. There was something sealed onto that, but it's been varnished over and things. Everything has been re-varnished and stuff. It's not the prettiest of enclosures, as you guys know. I would love to be able to make pretty enclosures, but it's just not my forte. But I've made it semi-arboreal, so it's got some stuff there to climb on. That perch there is close to the basking light. I've got the probe down there as sitting at the same height as the perch, so that I can monitor and keep an eye on all of the temperatures and such. There we go. So that would be a 20-foot snake if it was a mainland, but it's only a dwarf. Otherwise it might get to the size of his bigger cousin right here. Big man hunter. Hello my big boy. Are you handsome? You are. That snake has been absolutely smashing it at schools and just amazing me a little more every day as hunter. But there we go guys. So that is our new snake. A reticulated python, a snake I swore I would never own because I could never house such a large snake. But him being a super dwarf, he is not going to be as big as his cousins or his brothers and sisters, so to speak, from over the water. So an absolute gorgeous animal and a fantastic opportunity for us to work with and show you guys this amazing species here on the channel. So keep an eye out for more updates on this beautiful little man here in the future. Oh, another thing. We don't really have a name for him. I think his old name was Leonor or Lenore. I don't know if we're going to keep that. I think it was Leonor. But if you guys have a name suggestion for him, hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think we should call this little dude here. He is a albino lavender het snow. And he is a super dwarf. Het dwarf. But yeah, so hit me up in the comments below if you guys have a name suggestion for this beautiful little man right here. We're going to get him a light in there too at some point. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed that. As always, you could subscribe through my ugly mug right there. You can watch a playlist right there, or there'll be a random video suggested for you right there. Like, comment, share the channel around. Take it easy guys. Peace.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.